Long enough to cover the subject and short enough to keep it interesting. Welcome to Out of My League. I'm Nick Diaz. Let's say you're on a boat in the middle of the ocean and you're surrounded by sharks. Everyone in the boat with you decides they want to take turns and get into a cage and go swim with the sharks. Now, the cage isn't foolproof because, well, nothing is, but it's pretty sure proof. Kind of like those Tracy Morgan insurance commercials. I'm pretty sure, it's pretty sure proof. And everyone takes their turn to swim with the sharks in the pretty sure proof tank, cage, whatever. Then it's your turn. Middle of the ocean, surrounded by sharks. Everyone is telling you to do it. Everyone says you should do it. Go into the pretty sure safe proof cage surrounded by sharks in the middle of the ocean. Everyone has done it. They've turned out fine. You should do it too. And instead, at the last second, you decide to go back to the beach and pet some dolphins. So let me ask you something. Does that make you scared? Or does it make you smart? See, funny how those two things are the same, right? Kind of how it works out. Well, guess what? That's basically what Lincoln Riley did by leaving Oklahoma, turning down LSU, supposedly, and going to USC in Los Angeles. I tend to lean personally that he's actually kind of smart. Because look, if somebody gave me $110 million to have an easier job in an easier conference with better recruiting base and a nicer place to live, I'd be like, peace out, dude. You ain't going to see my ass ever again. I'm gone. And on top of that, wouldn't you know it, as soon as Lincoln Riley comes to the West Coast, Mario Cristobal leaves the West Coast in Oregon to go to his beloved hometown and beloved alma mater, the Miami Hurricanes. He left a job that on paper, more recently, has better resources, has better leadership, has better facilities, has better a lot for a place that he loves, but is a program that has been broken for a long, long time. Been way, way, way behind the times for almost 20 years. Miami, Florida just built an indoor practice facility. Miami just built an indoor practice facility. And he left to go there for a seemingly, on paper, lesser job, although we'll talk about that in a second, because he loved it. He loves home. No place like home. When mama calls, you answer, right? Now, both of these men, Lincoln Riley and Mario Cristobal, are going to private schools in big cities with unlimited recruiting base that have experienced NCAA violations and that haven't won worth jack shit anything in almost 15 years. We can all say Lincoln Riley is a selling out, scared coward, or Mario Cristobal is stupidly in love with his alma mater, but one thing we can't deny in all of this: recruiting. Not including Texas, both of these men are now in the best recruiting bases in the country, South Florida and Southern California. The problem that everyone has had with college football the past decade, it's not inclusive enough. Not enough teams in the playoff. No parity. There's SEC bias. No love for the little guy, the group of five guys, even though they're inferior. None of that is the real problem. Because, like most problems people have, they look at the results as opposed to the process to where the real issue is. And you know what the process is in this case? According to Josh Pate on 24/7 Sports, since 2016, the University of Alabama has had more five-star recruits from the state of Florida than Florida State, the University of Florida, and Miami combined. Those three schools have had less top recruits from their own state than the University of Alabama. All those offensive linemen and defensive backs and wide receivers that Alabama's had, they all come from Florida. I researched this myself. Since 2017, 70% of the top 10 players in the state of California have not gone to the University of Southern California. The starting quarterback at Alabama, he was the top player in California a couple of years ago. SEC Freshman of the Year this year, he's a tight end from Georgia, or for Georgia. He's from California. Quarterback for Ole Miss, Heisman Trophy candidate, California kid. Ohio State's starting quarterback. He's from California too. College football, to me, is better when there is more national parity. Not inclusion, not get everybody a trophy, but everybody is equally relevant in some form or fashion. Your frustration has been, well, the same 3 damn teams make it every damn year, over and over and over and over and over again. There's a huge talent disparity. And college football gets more attention when the bigger brands on all 4 corners of the United States, coast to coast, are relevant. And that especially includes Miami and USC. Now, why? Why is that important? Well, simply put, more people means more popularity. End of discussion, which is good for anything in entertainment, because the more popular you are, the more attention you get, the more money you get, and the better product it is for everyone involved. You can say Mario Cristobal is overrated and has his flaws as a coach, sure, but you damn sure can't say he's not a top 3 recruiter in the country as a head coach. I would say the top 3 head coaching recruiters in the country that are head coaches are Saban, Kirby, and Cristobal. They're all within a 100-mile radius of each other now, give or take. I heard Oklahoma beat reporters say when LSU was being rumored to be courting Lincoln Riley, they said the day Lincoln Riley leaves college football is the day he stops loving to recruit. Now that guy is in Southern California all by himself. I'll bet you anything, right now, I'll bet you anything that next year's 2023 signing class will have Miami and USC finish in the top 5. I would be willing to bet you all that I have on that right now. Guaranteed. Look, you can love Miami, you can hate Miami. You can love USC. Most people probably hate USC because of the West Coast, LA elitism. Fine. One thing you can't deny is that it's better for the sport when those 2 teams are good, because those 2 programs live in the middle of the 2 greatest recruiting cities in America. End of discussion. And the real problem with college football is those 2 programs have been not necessarily average, but completely irrelevant and behind the times in recruiting and staffing, everything. And now they've finally ponied up. Mario Cristobal, he has one job to do for the next few years at the University of Miami. He has to put a fence back around the quote-unquote state of Miami. As Howard Schnellenberger, the first national championship winning Miami coach who built Miami into what it is, said, everything south of Tampa and Daytona, all the way down to Miami-Dade. You go to Tampa, you go straight across the state to Daytona Beach, and everything south of that is the state of Miami. You get all of those South Florida kids to stay home, you ain't never going to lose a game. And he was right. 25 scholarship players, that's what you get every single year. 25 scholarship players. The thing that you win in recruiting is really comes down to, at the end of the day, 2 things. Relationships, as it is in every walk of life, relationships. And in recruiting specifically, geography. Relationships and geography. Now, relationships are important, and they'll get your foot in the door. Here's the issue that some of these other Florida schools will have, particularly a rival of LSU, who just hired a coach who's been in Louisiana the past 4 seasons. You can't rely on 25 scholarship players that are 18, 17 years old and they're leaving home for the first time to go cross-country and be away from home for the first time at another school. You can get a few, but 25, that's a lot of kids leaving mom and dad for the first time and not being able to drive home on the weekend to get a hot meal or a home-cooked meal with grandma, or go see their girlfriend who still has a year left of high school. That's why, if I'm Billy Napier at the University of Florida, sure, you try and win a few recruiting battles in Louisiana with your ties to the state. As you should. Why not? You've got relationships there. That's, again, half the battle. But here's the problem. You're not going to get that many top Louisiana kids to leave home. More importantly, you need to worry about everything north of Tampa. Because everything south of Tampa, ain't yours anymore. Billy Napier, and he knows this, he's a smart guy, he is surrounded in all directions by sharks. He has Nick Saban in Alabama to his east. He has Kirby Smart and Georgia to the west. And now Mario Cristobal to your south. College football is basically like the military. It's all about resources. And when it comes to recruiting, which is the lifeblood of any resource program, you squeeze the enemy from all sides in all directions. It's a militaristic tactic, and he has got the three biggest recruiting monsters as head coaches, now that Orgeron's not coaching, in college football, coming straight for him in all directions. So he'll get into battles, just like everyone else in the state of Louisiana, but as long as Brian Kelly is winning games, and he will win games, it's just a matter of how often and how much, those kids in Louisiana, most of them, they're going to want to stay home at LSU. If you're too busy trying to dip your toe into a state where kids are going to be traveling 8 to 10 hours away from mom and dad all the way to Florida, as opposed to worrying about the kids in your backyard that are 2 or 3 hours away from mom and dad, if you're an LSU fan, don't be worried about Billy Napier stealing every single top recruit in Louisiana. He'll get into battles, but don't be worried about that. He needs to be worried about his own damn base. That's what he needs to be worried about. Now, I'm all over the place today, but screw it. I have to get this all off my chest. So, the whole Brian Kelly Southern accent thing that he said at the basketball game. I don't hear the Southern accent. I'm from Baton Rouge. I don't really hear it, but fine, that's not the point. A lot of LSU fans were pissed because every national TV show, every national sports radio show, every TikTok sports channel, every Instagram sports channel, radio shows all across the world, all across Louisiana, were all making fun of Brian Kelly, the new head football coach at LSU. Oh, he's a fake. Oh, this is embarrassing. Oh, this is cringeworthy. Oh, you can't stop talking about it. And you know what I thought of the other day? I thought of this. Every national TV show, every national sports radio show, every TikTok sports channel, every Instagram sports channel, every radio show, all across the Southeastern Conference and beyond, especially in Louisiana, they were all talking about Brian Kelly, the next football coach at LSU, non-stop. You want to talk about recruiting? Howard Schnellenberger, who, as I mentioned previously, built Miami into what it was. He mapped off the state of Miami. When he was building Miami football, he was obviously had to worry about recruiting, first and foremost. And the way he did that is, this was before social media and the 24-hour news cycle. He used to go in-home visits and visit recruits all across Miami and South Florida. And he used to bring with him a pipe that he would smoke. That's kind of his trademark. He would wear a houndstooth jacket and pants. He had a mustache. He had a Kentucky Southern drawl, a deep voice, and he would smoke a pipe. And he used to do that all across in-home visits, bring his pipe with him, smoke the pipe right in the living room with the parents, with the recruit. He would say, come to the University of Miami football tradition, blah, 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 blah. And, of course, Miami sucked, and so no one took him seriously at first. But he would leave the pipe in the couch, in the corner of the couch, on purpose. He did this hundreds of times when he first got to the University of Miami. And you know what would happen? Those 16, 17, 18-year-old kids who were recruits would see that pipe, they'd bring it to school, and they would do impressions of Howard Schnellenberger, the old Southern gentleman from Kentucky with the houndstooth and the weird looking mustache, and they would make fun of him. Oh, I'm Howard Schnellenberger, blah blah blah. And so all those inner city kids in Miami and all across South Florida would go in the lunch table, would go in the classroom, would go in the hallways before class, and they would have the pipe, and they would just make fun of Howard Schnellenberger. So by the end of the day, end of the week, every kid in all those South Florida schools knew exactly who Howard Schnellenberger was. I don't know if Brian Kelly did the fake accent thing on purpose, even though I don't hear the fake accent thing. But I'll tell you what, there's no such thing as bad press. And everyone was wondering, why isn't Brian Kelly being more urgent on the recruiting trail his first week on the job? Why is he not doing? Well, maybe he did. Got everyone talking about him, didn't it? Thanks for listening to Out of My League. If you like what you heard, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, or follow me on Twitter and Facebook in the description link below.